So many people watching and listening are Giants fans, and so I do want to ask a few questions about the Giants. Um, I got to be honest, I feel differently about Brian, your departure and Bruce's departure from the Giants today than the day it happened. The day it happened, I felt like, you know what? Okay, these guys had a great run. Bruce seems happy with it. Brian seems at peace with it. These guys are going to kick up to advisory roles and consultant roles, and I was pleased with that. And it made me want to give Farhan and Gabe and the whole new regime a fair shot. Now that you are back in it, and I saw your comments where you said, "Hey, it's nice to be wanted again," and Bruce is back in the dugout managing. It makes me feel like it wasn't your guys' choice. Are you at peace with how things ended in San Francisco for you and for Bruce, Brian?
Well, I'll address Bruce first. He didn't go out on his own terms. The whole world knows that. I think the time off really allowed him to decide how much he missed it. He was able to spend some real quality time with his family. He moved to Nashville, um, but he still had that burning desire. And I don't think he wanted to go out the way it ended with the kind of teams he had the last couple of years in San Francisco. So the rest is history, how he got hired with Texas. In my situation, I probably overstayed my welcome. I didn't see the forest through the trees, new regime. I didn't see, as things developed, a path to be wanted and needed. I really enjoyed my time working with Mike Holmes, the scouting director, who's a rising star, and did a lot of leg work for him in each draft that I participated in. But, it was kind of becoming irrelevant, and I didn't like that feeling. And, I had to move on. The Yankee thing was always on the table. I should have saw that as more of an opportunity sooner. Um, do I miss the organization now the way it's perhaps constituted? No. Um, I really don't have much contact with hardly anybody there because really nobody's left. They've pretty much pushed the people that were involved in building our situation there either to the side or have retooled, which is understandable. But do I have any ill feelings? No. But do I root for the Giants? I can't say that I do.
And Ned, one of the things I've always loved about talking with you is that you're smart and you're candid, and yet you've got great perspective. I know how much you love Brian and your days together, but answer this as honestly as you can. I mean, should Brian and Bruce, in your opinion, Ned, have been able after the three World Series titles to kind of call their own shot on how it ended for them with the Giants? In your mind?
Hard to say. I will say this though, that I'm at this stage of my life, and I continue and will always seek wisdom from people who know what they're talking about and who have walked the walk. And Brian and I still talk, and I still seek wisdom from him. He's been in a couple of my classes that I teach because of his wisdom and his experience. So if they step aside, not out, but they step aside and take on a different role, uh, if that was in an organization that I was in charge of, and everybody's different, so I'm not casting aspersions against anybody for how they do what they do, but I'd have this guy by my side every day. He is not going to be somebody that's going to push to have anything negative happen or to wish anybody ill will. But to gain the wisdom and the insight that he has and Boch has, I think it would be one of the greatest situations you could ever be in as an executive, is to have people like him to ask questions of, to say, hey, what about this? What about that? I think it's invaluable. And I think it's to me, it was, and I didn't have the last couple of years, I don't have a rooting interest. I have a rooting interest for people, not laundry, as Billy Crystal would say, but I, when I could figure out what was going on there, I mean, it kind of broke my heart because it's just, I don't think anybody's wise enough to dispel wisdom, to walk away from wisdom when somebody's would be willing to provide it in the most genuine, honorable way. I think it's one of the great gifts people can bestow upon one another. And I would never turn that down.
Ned wrote a book, Brian, The Big Chair. I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was really, really well done. And there's so many great stories in there. There's so many things that you can learn by reading that book. I'm not getting any kickbacks, by the way, from Ned on the book. I just want people to know. But do you guys, Brian? You're still right there and have Cashman's ear and his respect. Ned, you're very much a part of the the media scene in Los Angeles, and I know you things ended very well with Andrew Friedman, and you guys have a relationship. But do you guys miss being in the big chair once you've been the general manager, the guy in an organization? Do you miss it? Or I guess I should ask you, what do you miss the most about being in the big chair?
I think
Go ahead,
something as simple as the grind. You miss I hate to say it, the treadmill. It's intoxicating, whether you win or lose. It's just how you're immersed. The relationships, the investment of time and energy. And when you win, it's really special because one thing that we prided ourselves on during my years being able to, let's say, be in the big chair was mutual respect, two-way loyalty, and then a work ethic that was beyond reproach. And we needed to be in sync, which we were with ownership, the front office, the manager, the coaches, the players. And I look back even through some of the worst seasons, the toughest seasons, I never felt like we got into a us versus them situation. And Ned can speak to that too, because a lot of times organizations aren't synced up. And it's more so, let's say, what's going on in the clubhouse and what's going on with the major league team versus the thoughts, the wants and needs of the front office. And that's an everyday proposition to keep everybody on the same page and pulling on the same rope. But I missed that part of it. Just the ability to compete. We were very competitive, and most old guard GMs, were to a fault. Although we had almost a blood kinship because of how tough the job was. And in our cases, the money didn't come until much later, really until the managers started making so much money, did we start getting recognized. So ironically, I missed the grind.
Ned, there's a quote from you. You were asked about this a few years ago, and you said, and it's a moving quote, if I can quote you, even though you're sitting right here. You said, "I buried my dad when I was a young man. I knew the difference between what it is, what is hard and what is just life. I miss it, but I also learned in life you get to look out of different windows." And then you went on to say, "I love to compete, and it's the thing I miss the most."
I would, yeah. I wrote down two things when you asked your question. One was the competition. And tied to the competition is the opportunity to help people get better at what they do. I miss that, and I also miss the people. I'll forever miss hanging with Saves and hanging with some of my scouts in LA, Vance Lovelace, Rick Ragazzo, a lot of people that Stan Conti, guys that you go through the ups and downs. You spend more time with them than you do your family, sadly. And I miss that part. And that's part of the reason I got back in with hockey, because of the competition and the chance to help a team get better. After 20 great years, we're in a rebuild. That's why I teach, the chance to help people, young people, get better, give them an opportunity, give them a window to look out of that they haven't looked out of before. But the people are the key. You could be on a team that wins 110 games, and if the people aren't the right people, it's just so. You could lose 90 games or 80 games. I'd probably say 80, not 90. And and you don't you still survive it because of the people you're involved with.